So this is where it all began for me, in a sense. We were up here 3 years ago and Julia had asked Sonny if we could fix up a shed that had partially been destroyed with a local cyclone. And this was the shed. When we arrived, there were sheets off, there were rafters broken and split. It was a bit of a shambles. So we took 5 days, there were 3 of us, plus the help of some of the local lads. And we put it together out of bits and pieces found down at the local Bunnings, the rubbish dump. And everyone's happy. Julia's happy. They've used it as a store since then. I think they've probably used it for other things during winter, before the church was built. This is where it started, literally in this shed. We knew that a church was going up and we'd maintain progress of looking at photos, but photos don't do things quite justice. And so to arrive and then to go into the church and see the complex is just amazing. And we can understand why Julia is over the moon, and so are the locals. They've gone from not having something like this ever to overnight, it would seem, this amazing complex, which isn't just a church building, it will become a church community facility. And already Julia was talking last night about doing this and doing that with the young people in particular, but also a place of refuge if required. It will become a focal point in the town as people get to understand that this isn't just a religious undertaking, but that it is people working from their heart and God working through people, through their heart, that will work to the advantage of everyone. Julia, the faith community, but also to the wider community. We knew that there was a fairly large paddock behind the church that had a large amount of rubbish there. When they bought the land some years ago from the Pink Roadhouse manager at the time, they also bought all of the rubbish that was on the block. So we knew there was a large amount of debris there. We didn't really know the extent of that. Last time we were here, it was pretty much a lot of weeds around, so we couldn't see everything, and we didn't actually know at that stage that we'd be back here in 3 years.
Make a little shelter thing there for the plants to help the trees to give it more shelter.
Julia had the vision that we'd try to put a community healing garden in as part of the facility. So then we got in contact with through Frontier Services, contacted Arid Lands people who were amazing and supportive. And from that we discovered what wicking bears were the best wicking bears to put in, that had success in other communities. We also knew that Julia was keen to have an area where the wicking bears were that was shaded, not just for the plants, but shaded for in particular the elders to sit, to yarn, but in the shade. We're making a frame here to support the 3 wicking beds that will sit on top of it. Yep. That will mean that the wicking beds will be another 200 higher than normal, which makes it easier for the elderly to work the gardens, to pick the gardens. So when we arrived, we walked around with Julia to get the feel of what she was after, and it was decided at that point that we would definitely put this shade under the existing coolabah trees. And so we've got existing trees there, which we've now cleaned around, and we'll put some other plantings down. And we discovered a a concrete pad that had obviously been put there at some stage for a donga to put on it. So we cleared off all the rubbish, just and the concrete pad was exactly the length and the width that we needed with the timbers that we bought to build our shade house. Number one, that was amazing. And then secondly, we didn't know at that stage if we would have quite enough material. It was going to be tight, but we didn't have to worry because we found a steel structure that was also the same width that we needed to put a framework up as a roof. So we didn't have to, we then knew we'd have enough other materials to do everything else. It grew from a project of cleaning to a project of cleaning, building, growing, etc. It's great to be able to be in a place where you can have great experience and serve as well. So it's a win-win, really, in that sense.
Like that garden, like I wasn't expecting that till I seen it in action, yes. And not only myself, but every person that walked with me, especially the young ones. That joy that we're feeling, and it's like, oh my goodness, it's really happening when we see that. Yeah, when we see things in action.